This is the Mainframe Connect podcast, brought to you by the Linux Foundation's Open Mainframe project. Sponsored by Phoenix Software International. Mainframe Connect includes the I Am a Mainframer series, the Riveting Mainframe Voices series, and other content exploring relevant topics with mainframe professionals and offering insights into the industry and technology. Today's episode is another in the I Am a Mainframer series, exploring the career journeys of mainframe professionals.
Hello and welcome. You're joining us here on another episode of the I'm a Mainframer podcast. I'm your host, as always, Steven Dickens, and I'm joined by Bruno. Hey, Bruno, welcome to the show.
Hi, and nice to meet you, but I'm very pleased that you asked me to come and to join.
So let's dive straight in, Bruno, and tell the listeners and viewers a little bit about what you do and where you work, and we'll just use that as a jumping off point.
Okay, nice. Just to give to you an introduction about that, I started in Mainframe in 1998. So and I did it just after because I went to the army. Okay, and during my army, I worked during 2 years. I would like to work since I was a child on IT. So I did my best to work on IT, and that was before 2000. Okay, many in France, many company look for people to go and to work on IT, and they proposed to me to work on mainframe.
Okay.
So I have no idea what it is. So I signed the contract, but just before I asked to the company, what is the mainframe? That's something like a virtual memory or something like that. Okay. So I did I did the training during 6 months. Okay, and during this period, at the beginning, I was very frustrated because I worked with Windows. Okay, and I come to an old technology for me, and that wasn't very easy for me at the beginning, to be honest with you. And but at one moment, I met someone, and he gave me the good basis and explained to me that if we stay on this technology and you have the good basis, you can growing up. Okay, because if you would like to
have a career on the platform, is that what?
Yeah. That's there. So you can continue to improve your knowledge. Okay, and but if you would like to go to the open source or not open source, but the open system like Windows, each time you have a certification, you should do it again and again and again. Okay, I know that for the Windows certifications, that's not very easy all the time to pass it. So I understood that a good place, if you would like to continue to learn and have the knowledge continue to grow.
And where are you now, Bruno? Which company are you at now? Let's get the listeners orientated.
Today I'm working for a financial company, Euroclear. So that's we manage trades or something like that, and shares,
bonds,
shares, and so that's a financial company. And
I'm assuming you're based in France, but
I'm based in France. Totally agree. Maybe you can listen to via my accent. Sorry for that. And that's a very good company. And because today we are very oriented about new technology and the cloud, and I'm working on mainframe modernization.
Okay.
And for me, that's a very, very good point to work on this way, because you know that many company developers in COBOL getting retired, okay, and to find people to code in COBOL or Pair One or different language managed by the mainframe. That's not very easy. And if we propose an environment only with a 32/7 environment, the young generation don't want to work with. Okay, so today I had the pleasure, to work on this very good. For me, that's a great project to work on the cloud development environment. So we started this journey with VDIs, and as we have problems with performance or to onboard people because we work with company outside France or outside my company, okay, to for a consultant outside. So to onboard them, that was not very easy. And with the cloud development environment, so we detected that better and easier to onboard people in and out the company.
Okay, so
With
when you say when Bruno, when you say mainframe modernization, that means a lot of different things to different people. What does it mean
yeah.
to what does it mean to
Alors
your
for me, alors
is it
with
modernizing the applications on the mainframe? Is it moving those applications off the
alors
mainframe? What
alors
does it mean?
alors there is two aspects. Okay, the first we put some application in the cloud.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the other side we we give the possibility to the developers to use Visual Studio Code, and because that's easier for them now to read the code, to read the cooks, because everything is managed by the IDE. So yeah, for me that was this part that I manage today.
So are you using Zoe as part of that?
Yeah, Zoe, Zoe Explorer, Zoe CLI, the API, the API mediation layer too. And for me, that's a big jump to explain maybe at the beginning when we started with Zoe API mediation layer. Um, I don't understand. I understood that we can use API, okay, but today I can see that that's more. That's the API because all the security can be matched by the API mediation layer. So to improve the security, that's pretty good
So
to get
how
to
does
get
the
to get this.
lots of people are talking about modernization of their mainframe. Sounds like you guys are actually doing it.
Yeah,
How is that project going? What is the developer reaction when you use Zoe, present an IDE,
yeah.
and
Now, at the
go away
beginning,
from that to be on a 3270 green screen? What is the reaction?
at the beginning, they would like with VDI, okay, as that wasn't very easy to onboard people on VDI because each developer has his owner on his VDI. Okay, so he should manage all the points, so all the plugins, all the connection, all the everything. Okay, we can propose something, but to automate the environment, that's not easy. So we what the return we had with the first experience, that was not very easy to onboard people, and they would like more something plug and play. So that's the reason why we go and with so that we can customize everything in it, and with this technology to onboard people. And I realize that's very easy to because everything is already customized, the plugin, the connection, the developer has to put only his credential, and everything is okay. He has
So,
already, yeah, great.
so Bruno, part of a modernization story for the platform now is AI.
Yeah.
We've been talking for almost 11 minutes here and we haven't mentioned AI. It's 2026. You've got to mention AI. Is AI part of the conversation of the modernization story, either to do code explanation or documentation or part of that modernization journey itself? Is AI part of that equation and that discussion?
Alors yes, today we are very focused to have an help with AI. Okay, so that means that directly via the Visual Studio Code, we can put an AI. You can choose Copilot, you can GitHub Copilot, you can choose Claude or ChatGPT. This help you have the possibility to create documentation, to explain the code, and for me that's a very good plus value to get it, because young generation needs this help. And yesterday, for example, I had a conversation with someone from IBM, and to speak about unit tests, and I was very happy to see that what we can do to test the code in COBOL, and that was very nice.
So one of the questions I always ask, you've got, what is it, 28 years now on the platform. You have the chance to go back and chat to yourself when
Uh,
you're 21, 22.
uh,
What would you say to younger Bruno?
young Bruno, yeah, that's definitely Bruno. Go there, and maybe you don't see the potential now, okay, but at one moment, what you will realize that you can mix the old technology and the new one, because with the Visual Studio Code, and that's a real pleasure for you. That will be a real pleasure for you to onboard on this platform instead to go on the open world, because there is more competitive something, or you understand what I mean?
Yeah. It's a conversation I often have with sort of people sort of come across who are doing it, maybe at college or maybe
Yeah,
starting their career. If you start in the mainframe, it's just less competitive, and the
uh,
opportunities in the organizations you're going to work with, you'll be the most interesting person in the room a lot of
uh,
times, and that's a good thing for your career.
and if I there is another thing that I would like to mention, that on the mainframe, that's a big family,
Yeah.
because that's we are very little. So I remember that you co-present this podcast with Sarah, and I met her 3 weeks ago. So that was pretty fun to see that we can met other IBM champion or ambassador Open Mainframe on the same room, and that was pretty good.
So Bruno, final question. I ask everybody this question. I've been asking it for 7 years now. Always a really good question, and I think you'll have a really interesting answer to it. Crystal ball. You get to look.
Ouais.
You get to look ahead. You can't pick stocks. You can't pick.
Mm.
You can't look ahead to see what Nvidia's trading at 5 years from now. All joking aside, you get to
Ouais.
look ahead, see where the mainframe is 5 years from now. Where do you
Yeah.
think the platform is going to be 5 years from now?
For me, the platform will continue to work, okay?
Mhm.
Because I remember in 2000, that wasn't the case when I started. They said, no, be careful because in 2000, no mainframe anymore.
Y2K and yeah.
Yeah. And today, what I believe, and that more and more company will continue to invest. We can see that, for example, that's simple. There is, for me, there are two figures. In fact, two companies which invest a lot. IBM, for example, and because with the mainframe 17, we can see that the hardware is very awesome. And there is after Broadcom, they invest a lot, and the products are very. There is a many products around, and for me, when I saw this, I realized that the company will continue to work very, very hard on this. Rocket software is do it the same, so that's nice.
Yeah. Well, Bruno, this has been a fantastic discussion. I wish I was in the south of France with you today and we were doing this in person rather than me having to dial in remotely. You've been listening to another episode of the Open Mainframe Projects I'm a Mainframer podcast. Please click, like, subscribe, and do all those things, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thank you very much for watching.
Yeah, see you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Mainframe Connect podcast and this episode in the I Am a Mainframer series, sponsored by Phoenix Software International. Like what you heard? Subscribe to get every episode, or watch us online at openmainframeproject.org. Until next time, this is the Mainframe Connect podcast.